All right, good afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Hertz Tropica Trade Group, and today is Thursday, April 16th. Once again, whoops, I've got the wrong label on here because my spreadsheet crashed. But once again, it's the haves and the have nots market. Sorry for my typing, but my fingers at this point are so tired of typing on a laptop. It's insane. But that's basically what we're seeing right now in this market is some names are continuing to rally and have crazy momentum to them, and then other areas of the market are really, have continued to break down. Right. So we'll go over a couple of these, and I will give you my conclusion at the end of the video. But let's go over the price action really quick. SPYs were up on the day, very choppy, back and forth, up 40 basis points. Nasdaq just again impressive outperformance. And then if you look on the other end of the spectrum, the small caps are continuing to break down. Bonds strong once again, up 1% for the day, and gold not much of anything today, and the VIX moved back down again today. Let's go over a couple of things with price action first. So why am I? Wow, look at Gilead go. I'll get to Gilead in just a second. So why am I going over the charts when it seems like every day we've been finding some really good winners in the room. We've been finding some nice momentum plays and so forth, and there's a lot of really nice, interesting, good setups that you can find right now, but right, that's kind of temporary, right? From day to day, is basically how this market is going right now. We're still holding above value. Again, I kind of talked about today as being a little bit crucial, to see if we can hold, and we are holding the top of value, right? So, one of the things that I talked about coming into today was that we're at the S&P is at an important level. Things are kind of lining up on multiple. On multiple time frames. You got 1 hour, the daily, which I just showed you, and of course on the weekly chart too, which we've got a pretty big level to get through. Now the week is not over, but it looks like if we close here tomorrow, we'll be inside value, which I think is a pretty good. That's something that we want to see, right? But what we're talking about is the overall market, right? This kind of helps me to gauge whether or not I want to be taking a lot of risk, or if I start to see things like market breadth break down, right? That's known as divergence in the marketplace. Then I really want to be cognizant of that, right? And because usually once we start to see market breadth roll over, usually the market tends to kind of it's kind of a clue, and the market tends to kind of go in that direction. From my experience, that's what I've learned. And when you've got really strong breadth, and when a lot of things are participating, you've got a pretty powerful market, a strong market. When you have just a few areas of the market that are continuing to lead, you've got what's known as a weaker market, right? And that means to me, when we've got stronger, I would rather stay in trades, a little bit longer, because I think the overall market is acting better. And when the market breadth is weak, it's just the opposite, right? I want to be, in trades very, on a faster basis, and I don't want to be carrying that much risk, uh, in overnight, or just through days and weeks, basically, because I think once you have that weaker breath, it's kind of indicating that the market is set up more to roll over and continue with the primary trend, which right now is down, and something like this in small caps is down. So I think that's important to realize. So what do you do with this market, right? When you're seeing things like this, and if we look at um, basically the heat map here of what I've got, and I've got highlighted in column N, of course, is a percentage change from open to close. When you've got so many areas that are pushing down like this, it tells you that, first of all, like, I would not want to be playing the indices right now, because there's too many things underneath the hood that are breaking down. I want to be a stock picker in this market, but but also I want to be really highly selective and quick with taking some trades and exposure. So that's kind of the conclusion. And again, you could see, once again, biotech is has been really, really strong. Like if you look at, it's the usual suspects. And this is why, in my opinion, I always want to stick with strength, relative strength, and I don't want to fade things. I want to continue to go with the trend. VRTX has acted exceptionally. So has Regeneron even better. So, and then of course we saw some big calls come into today with Gilead. Now they've got obviously, this looked like a nice looking chart to me. So what did I do? I followed the August calls. Again, it has to confirm in my system, but when we see so many calls go up, which we saw multiple strikes go up in August, all being swept, so all like aggressive. When you see something swept, meaning they're basically paying above the offer, right? They want to get into those calls aggressively. They're not messing around, right? They're not. They would rather assure that they get in, versus. Versus they're more intent on getting filled than on a better price, right? So that's usually what's swept. When you go ahead and you're saying to your broker, you're just saying, hey, I want to go ahead and get filled. That basically means that you're willing to pay a little bit of a higher price. That's swept. So that's what we saw for Gilead. That's nice. I should have a nice gain in this one. I did take a target in this, and again, if you want to look at our trade blotter, so really nice day overall. Net was something that I had put in the trading room last night. Here was our setup for this, but this was a really nice looking setup too. So if you do your homework, right, and spend some time while the market is closed, I think this net can continue to go higher here. But again, I will take targets along the way, right? Because again, I think this market, it could change on a dime right now. And then everything else, like I added some trades into yesterday, and again, I'm not looking to basically hit home runs right now. So if I put on a trade, which I did yesterday in SMH, right, I've been in and out of that trade. I took this thing off, and I missed the kind of the whoosh in the market midday when they had those announcements about New York City and so forth. But I did take a target in Gilead because again, I want to make sure I'm taking some off the table. Work was a nice trade. Costco, which I got out of a little bit too soon in Costco. I didn't realize I had my whole position out on the offer. But not Gilead, sorry, Costco. I've got Gilead on the brain, but this looks really nice. This is starting to break out. So that is that. I did take a couple. I did take a loss in this Carvana I talked about yesterday. Again, it's good to talk about not only the winners but the losers too. I did take this one off. It kind of broke support. It wasn't hanging in there, and I think I got out of that one on the lows. Same thing with Service Now, which I was in yesterday. I did get a little frustrated today, so I sold out of positions. A couple of them probably at the wrong time, but that's fine. I got out of my last piece of ZS. I think I hit a target up at 72 today, so that was a nice trade. So again, a couple of these trades just in for a couple days. I added Baidu, which is working pretty well to start off with. We saw a little bit of calls in that one as well. And then what I also did today was, just again, practicing what I'm preaching. Here's what our tactical portfolio looks like. And again, you could go right to Motif Investing, right, which here's in this channel. Here's what I did basically, rebalance the portfolio today. I took out Docu, which perfect was a nice winner for us. So again, the tactical portfolio is no options. It's all cash trades, and it is a portfolio. I've got 30 names in there. So I took profits on this today, and I went into I'm keeping this cash portfolio. So again, going back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video, I don't like what's going on with market breadth, so I'm keeping some cash in this portfolio. I was actually reducing it. I think the last week when I did the rebalance, I reduced the cash balance a little bit. I'm just not liking the smaller and smaller leadership in the market right now. So I also took profits. I'm still leaving Netflix in there for a smaller weight. It was about a 4% weight, but we basically hit a home run again. Even though I'm not swinging for home runs right now, we hit a home run in Netflix, and then I also moved Amazon down as well. Still, Amazon is in here, but it was about a 5% weight. I moved it down to 3.5. So again, taking targets. I mean, just monster. So again, caught this one really, really nicely in Amazon as well. So again, we'll continue to trade smart. If I don't like how the market is looking, there was really, by the way, Tribeca Trade Group members basically on fire with calling out different trades in the room. So really, really love the collaboration that we've got going on here. Of course, I can't get into every single trade, and but the ideas that are flowing in our trading room are spectacular. So kudos to all the members, and what a great job they've been doing this week. I did get a couple questions about, hey, usually the banks are not a good sign in what we're seeing. I agree, right? So you don't have to be you know, afraid to make some changes here. But if you don't like the look of what's going on in the banks and in the small caps, make some adjustments. And that's basically what I'm doing here is making adjustments, and that's why I've got 22% weight in this portfolio, which is basically cash, right? Because I just don't like the look of the overall market. But I want to still participate, and things have momentum to them. So again, I manage all of these names individually and have set targets and set stops. So it's been working pretty well. All right, guys. As well as, so this is the one account that I manage, and then my trading portfolio is doing, knock on wood, doing very well. So very pleased at how today is going. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Remember that Fridays have not been super, super wonderful in 2020. So if you're having a really nice week, you know no reason to go crazy tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great night and see you tomorrow.